Welcome, ladies and gents. Doctor Who is dead. You know it. I know it. We've talked about it a lot. But now, so is Russell T Davies. Yep, that's right. Doctor Who showrunner Russell T Davies has come out, as well as the BBC, and so the ratings are not doing that well. Now, this is like an updated set of comments that they've sort of given a bit more recently. It's fascinating stuff, genuinely. The cope is real, for sure. So we're going to take a look. Hit subscribe if you're new here. Turn the bell notifications on. My last video I did on this, Doctor Who, was taking a look at every single piece of data we had for Doctor Who in general, like all the ratings. It's fascinating to see. And I theorise, rather obviously, that from the Christmas special to next season, we're going to see a huge decline from already terrible views or ratings. So it'll be fascinating to see. But yeah, hit subscribe if you're newer, turn the bell notifications on. Let's dive right into this. This is an article on That Park Place. It is linked down below. So, a few things. Alright, Doctor Who showrunner Russell T Davies, RTD, the retardeed, has recently confirmed that the show is, quote, not doing well in the ratings. Yeah. So, as reported by the Radio Times, Davies made an appearance at a BAFTA event called A Life in Pictures, Russell T Davies. Is that so? Just a jerk-off fest to himself then, I guess. Where he confirmed the show ratings are not good. So, but they do cope about it because they're like, yeah, but they're really good with young people. Like, okay, and also the sort of comments on this are like, yeah, we were really trying to go young. So, okay, groomer. So it says, in coming back, I wanted to make it simpler and I wanted to make it younger. I wanted to make it so a lot of people would have just taken offense to me saying, okay, groomer, but there very clearly is a grooming aspect to this, right? This is a show that in every single episode is pushing sort of identity politics and critical race theory, all these kind of things, right? LGBTQ agenda, and that, you know, it's okay in certain shows here and there, but when it's in everything, and when your primary focus and push is, yeah, we wanted to make it younger, and you're super glad that you managed to snag young people, it is a bit groomerish. It is. It absolutely is. There's a time and a place for stuff like this. So no, it says those two things are often not discussed. You read reactions to it, and people are missing that. It's simpler and younger, and it's working. The under 16s and 16 to 34 audience as well is massive. Yeah, that makes it even worse. Doesn't make it better. That makes it worse. So you're really trying to push it to young audiences whilst also admitting that you write about being a queer person. Those two things are morally reprehensible, like in combination with one another. Like, I'm a queer person, I'm only going to write about being queer, but I'm also really going to push this to kids. Okay. That's weird. Das groomer. However, despite this spin, he did admit the truth and, quote, it's not doing that well in the ratings, but it is doing phenomenally well with the younger audience that we wanted. Just comes out and admits it, yeah, we wanted a young audience, we wanted them. I bet you did. So a BBC spokesman also attempted to push this spin, informing Radio Times, Doctor Who remains one of the most watched programmes on iPlayer. But one of the most watched programmes on iPlayer. We know how much it has on iPlayer. It's actually not that many. So +7 is... These are the ratings, by the way. Sorry, I'm a bit confused. +7 is just those who recorded it and watched it within a week. So actually, it's this final figure here that includes iPlayer numbers. So it's 300,000 people have watched it. That's one of the most viewed things on iPlayer. Okay. Now, they do say some updated figures, but even there, they're not that good. It's only in the, like, 2 million people that have watched it range. It's really bad. Really bad, actually. So apparently it's the top BBC drama for under 35s this year, making it one of the biggest programs for the demographic across all streamers and broadcasters. This season of Doctor Who premiered on iPlayer nearly 24 hours before the broadcast, and episode 1 has already been viewed nearly 6 million viewers and continues to grow. So it's taken you 2 months to get like about 2 million views on iPlayer. And that's the most viewed thing. That's really bad. How can anyone spin that as positive? That's terrible. How strange. Anyway, Davies previously admitted that the show's ratings were not good, as reported by Doctor Who TV. He told Radio Times, "I'm very proud of it, you know. There might not be the ratings we'd love. We always want higher. But they're building over the 28-day period. Episode 1, Space Babies, is already up to 5.6 million and counting, so it's getting there." Isn't that interesting? Because the recent update is only nearly 6 million. So they really haven't grown that much, have they? 5.6 million to nearly 6 million. I mean, it was nearly 6 million like a month ago. So it's quite literally capped itself out, hasn't it? It's capped itself out at about 1.5, 1.6, 1.7 million. So it's about that range. On iPlayer. That's terrible. That's the most viewed thing on iPlayer. According to the BBC. That's god-awful. And he also attempted to spin it as positive. Says youthful audience, because that's what they wanted. Of course. I was brought back in to bring a youthful audience. That's been massively successful. The audience no one ever gets to the under 30s. They just don't watch TV anymore. But those figures are astronomical for Doctor Who. It's their top programme in that bracket. Again, yeah, so even this says the season premiered, blah, 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 2.6 million viewers overnight, with the week 4.01. That means in 2 months the episode has only reached 2 million more viewers. Well, not even that, because it's not actually got to 2 million mark. It's not actually got to 6 million. It's close to 6 million, but it's not. So, yeah, not good. So according to the Doctor Who guide, the season has 5 of the 10 worst rated Doctor Who episodes ever, based on 7-day ratings, so that's hilarious. And as for it hitting under 35s, that appears to be more of a reflection on how poorly the company's other shows have performed, and that's true. Yeah, I mean, the BBC's dead. Like, no one really watches the BBC anymore. And yeah, you are right, people are switching off from TV, but that's because everything is shit on TV. Like, most people watch YouTube now. I can go on YouTube and I can watch a much, much higher level of production value with far more interesting presenters, far more interesting content, far more interesting conversations than I can on TV. Why do people watch TV? They don't. Only old people, generally speaking. Or super, super young kids. But anyway, there you go. From the horse's mouth, the ratings are pretty bad. What do you guys think? Let me know down below. Cheers, guys. Take care. Bye-bye now.